Oh my goodness. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. It is Monday. It is 17 after 8. I am completely and utterly late. I apologize. There was an issue where Facebook Live was not working the first time around. So I had to quickly make a new show and start all over again. So I am here. Hello. Dan getting ready for his show. Dan will be going live around 9 o'clock. I plan to be done by 9 o'clock so that people who then watch his show afterwards can watch his. I do have a guest on. I'm waiting for him to appear, but I am late all around. So I was late giving him the link. I hope that he comes on. So I'm just waiting for that. So hope everyone is doing well until he comes on. I will tell you that this is my second show today. I'm not usually double booking myself, but that's what happened for today. So if anyone missed it, you missed a good show earlier this afternoon, and I implore you to go back and watch the show. It was an absolute delight speaking with John Jack. That is his name, all the way from Scotland. So that's why I did it in the middle of the afternoon, because it was already late for him. So, yeah, it was very interesting to say the least. So, and I can't wait to watch him again. Hello to my grandmother and to my Aunt Val. Hello. So tonight, now that I'm running a little bit behind, I'm still waiting for him. Hopefully he's not mad at me. Tonight, we're going to be talking to author Andrew Mann. Andrew is the author of the book, Such Unfortunates, about the opiate crisis that's going on. And he wrote a book about his own experiences. Hello, Ariel. So as soon as I hear from him, which I sent him the link the first time and then the show didn't work, so I had to scrap it. Then I had to send him a new link. So I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting. Because he was wondering, okay, it's time for the show. What happened here? So we're just waiting for him. So I'm pretty sure he'll show up at some point. If he doesn't, it's all right. So that's what's happening. So make sure you go to the page that you're on right now. If you're on our Facebook page, my Facebook page, check out the featured video. That was the one from 3 o'clock this afternoon, where I spoke to actor and author John Jack, which was an absolute delight. And I can't wait to have him on again. I can't wait. So I'm going to share this video that is going on right now. So but like I said, I'm just waiting for Drew to come on. There he is. Well, here I am. Share now. I'm just going to share this video to my Facebook page before I forget. So I hope everyone's having a fantastic night. So far, it's beautiful outside. I didn't really get to enjoy too much of it because like I said, I had that show earlier. I'm still waiting for a couple more people. I hope he comes on, unless he's waiting for 8:25 or something, because I told him 8:25, but I decided to go live early just to explain myself to everyone. As to what was happening, why I didn't go live at 8 o'clock. So, again, I apologize. I got sidetracked big time. So, how's everyone doing? What is everyone up to? Let me know what you've been up to. Me, nothing. So, I have a busy week ahead of me. I have lots of guests to come onto the show. So, this is out of the norm. Normally, I only do one show a week, but now that there's guests, I've had to make certain adjustments to the show, which means I may be going live almost every day, which is not something I really wanted to do. But when you have people that are willing to come onto the show, I'm all for it. So yeah, there will be a show tomorrow for Tuesday. Another author will be joining us, Holly Bargo. You can find her books on Amazon. She is a romance slash fantasy author. And then Wednesday, we're going to have comedian Rhett Sever come on. We're going to talk to him just a little bit. And Friday, I have another author. So Alan Stedham is going to be coming on. So that's going to be an interesting show to watch. What else? And hopefully, we fixed the problem with last week's show with Michael Learned from the Waltons. She'll hopefully be on this Thursday. We're trying to get her to reschedule for this Thursday. If it doesn't work out, then we'll figure something out. But I haven't heard anything about that. And again, I apologize for last week's show. I did everything that I was supposed to, but we had a little bit of miscommunication as to what number I was actually supposed to call. So yeah, needless to say, I was given the wrong number. So poor Michael was waiting for me to call. So we'll just wait and see. So, like I said, I'm just waiting for Andrew here to pop on so we can start talking to him about his book and anything else that he's been up to. You can check him out on YouTube. He does have his own channel on YouTube, Andrew. So, yeah. Daniel is enjoying the fantastic weather where he is. He's walking upwards a mile a day. That sounds good. Exercise is always a good thing. Ariel is relaxing after a stressful morning. Well, yeah. I think everyone is having stressful times. So hopefully you can de-stress, watch me. Yeah. So if anyone's wondering, Ariel is my other sister, my sister from Maine, who I had the pleasure of meeting, I believe, last year. I can't believe it's been a year already. I feel like I was just there. So as soon as these travel restrictions and COVID crap and all that other stuff kind of dies down, I'd like to get back to Maine and go back up there. It was very fun, the different places that I was at. So, okay, Mr. Mann, where are you? We're just waiting for him to chime in here any second now. I did send him. I hope he comes on. Yeah, so we're just waiting for him. I hope he pops on any minute now. So, is anyone else up to anything? I know it's Monday, so it's kind of out of the norm that I'm actually doing this. So, oh my goodness, my shoulder is blending in with the screen there. Does everybody like my home? Isn't it beautiful? My guest this afternoon actually thought it was my house and appreciated it and said it was very nice. He liked my piano in the back, in the back there. Unfortunately, I had to come clean and tell him that this is actually a green screen. It's not actually my house. I wish it was my house. But yeah. So, yeah. I'm not sure if I can change. Can I change the screen? Oh, maybe I can. Oh, there we go. How about that? Isn't that pretty? Oh, that's fantastic. I absolutely love it. Yeah, it's not. I've never been there. This is Disneyland, by the way. All these people walking behind me. So rude. But there's the castle. That's pretty neat. I didn't even know I could really do that. Can you see everything? Oh, yeah, you can. Look at that. What a beautiful picture. Hello to my other aunt, Brian, in his natural. That's right. This is my natural setting here. I just wish I had a Disney World picture, but unfortunately, I do not. And I can't use Disney characters because there might be a copyright issues. I don't need anyone coming after me. So yeah, I have a feeling he might not show up. I'm not exactly sure. I have not received any other I hope he comes on. He should. I hope he does. I hope. Oh my goodness. Oh boy. What are we going to do, right? This time it's my fault because I am running late. So oops. So I'm just letting him. Yeah, so I'm just waiting for him. It's my fault because, like I said, I was running late, and I don't know what I was doing. Oh, I know what I was doing, but so yeah. Daniel, I was watching. I don't know what happened. Like all of a sudden, it just stopped. So I'm like, that can't be it. There's got to be more to the show here. So, and I saw that you went back on. So yeah. And Daniel, I just want to point out, thank you for your comment about me and what I do. I saw your comments. So much appreciated there, sir. I didn't think that my show or myself could be an inspiration to somebody else, but yeah, it kind of made me feel good. Set me back a little bit. I wasn't expecting that, so that was good to read. So yeah, I just another email was sent to him. We'll see what happens. If not, I'll just keep going for the next 30 minutes. And then everyone can just tune into Daniel's show. I might have to reschedule Andrew's show here if he does not chime in here pretty soon. So I know he has a link to the show. Yeah. So it's weird doing 2 shows in a day. I've never done that before. So it's very strange. But anyways. So yeah, I hope he comes in. I mean, I can tell you more about his book if you'd like to know or where you can get it. So yeah, I'm just waiting. I feel bad. Ooh, I feel bad. So yeah. I don't know. I don't like it when this happens. I feel really, really bad. I feel really bad. I really do. So anyways, what's everyone up to? What are you guys doing? Anything? Anything at all? I don't see my other sister on here. I don't see my sister Ashley. I don't see my sister Kayla. Most of these people, see, it's because it's Monday, and most of like I said, I don't do shows during the week, so this is something completely new. I just want to give out a shout out to the people watching on YouTube. Don't forget that this show is actually streamed on YouTube live. So if you want to watch it in a different way, you can always watch it on YouTube, which is pretty cool. So yeah. I always forget to mention the whole YouTube thing. So my aunt did some lawn work today. So that sounds fun. All right, Andrew. Where are you, Andrew? Uh-oh. I think he's mad at me or something. Oh, no. Like I said, I was on a totally different Facebook page, and I also was on YouTube. I was watching some YouTube videos. I was very interested in this morning's guest and the different various shows that he said that he was on. So, and most of them are British shows on the BBC. We're talking years ago, though, but those shows technically are still running to this day. So I wanted to find like the episodes that he was in to see if I could recognize them. So it's very interesting. I found one, so I watched that, but yeah, other than that, there he is. There he is. All right, so I'm going to stop chit-chatting because Andrew's here and he's ready. I can see him. So we're going to talk to him, find out what this book is all about. Again, I'm late because it's me. It's my fault. So here we go. I'm going to stop chit-chatting now. So there he is.
All right. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, yeah. Good. I was waiting for you on the first link, and then she sent me a second one, and I was able to finally get through there. So I didn't do that right away. But thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, not at all. I apologize. This is my second show today, which normally I don't do. So I got busy in between doing something else, and then I looked at the clock. It said it was 6:30 something. I'm like, oh yeah, I got plenty of time or whatever. And then I look up and it says 10 after 8. I'm like, oh my God. All right. So I pretty much have told everyone what you are here for. You are the author of Such Unfortunates. So yes. I will let you explain the book and why you wrote it.
Okay. All right. Great. Yes. Like you said, I'm the author of the book Such Unfortunates. And I wrote the book because I wanted to help people avoid going through what I went through. I dealt with, as a child, I grew up in a horribly abusive family. And I get into it in the book, but that led to all types of issues, depression, anxiety. It led to me being bullied in high school. I dealt with a bunch of really terrible things, which led to me eventually becoming a drug addict, and a terrible one, where I basically lost everything. I ended up homeless on the streets of Camden, New Jersey, as a heroin addict, an IV heroin addict. And it got to the point where I had lost all hope, and some people that I consider to be angels sort of came into my life and were able, when everyone else had given up on me, to get me into a treatment center where I was able to deal with some of the issues that I really needed to deal with that I had never dealt with before. And I was finally able to beat this. And when I did that, I would tell some people about my story, and people would say, you have an amazing story that could help people out. And they were like, have you ever thought about writing a book? And so then a bunch of people told me I couldn't do it. They said a book's too hard to write, and that sort of motivated me to do it. And I ended up writing the book. So it just in a nutshell, that's what the book is about. And why I wanted to write it was I really believe that if I could do this, if I could get clean, there isn't anyone out there that couldn't get clean. And I had seen so many of my friends die from this. I've been to more funerals than I can even, think of off the top of my head in the past 3 years. And I've talked to a lot of their parents and family and loved ones they left behind. And a lot of them came to me and said, what were you able to do that they weren't able to do? And when I would talk to them, they would say, you really need to get this information out, because not only could it help people suffering with addiction, but it could also help their families.
Mm.
And so that sort of motivated me to write the book and and get it out there to as many people as I could.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a big issue. I know where I am, anyways. It's a big issue. There's always somebody in the paper, that has left us way too soon. And I know that most of them, they're people that I went to school with, and so it's pretty sad. So I'm assuming that the book has been well received. I would hope that you have gotten feedback and saying, thank you so much. And
absolutely, I really have. It's been actually way beyond whatever I thought it was going to be, that I was going to receive. I didn't realize this many people were going to read it and this many people were going to be interested in it. Not long after I'd published it, a girl wrote to me and she said, I was going to kill myself. And then I read your book and she's like, I actually think I have hope now. And I just wanted to tell you that. And I was like, wow, I was blown away by that. And then I was surprised at how many other people had similar childhoods and they just never talked about it, had abuse in their childhood. They were just too ashamed to talk about. And they were like, I don't think I could write a book, but I really appreciate you sharing this because now, I don't want to tell anybody, but I feel comfortable talking to you about it. I just want you to know that I went through what you went through. And they would ask me things like, was it a big relief to get it off your shoulders? And how did that help you? And so that's been incredible. And yes, I mean, the overwhelming majority of people have been given incredible feedback. And that's been really nice. It has. And it motivates me to even get it out there more. Like I've given it to people. If they can't afford the book, I'll send it to them if I have extra copies. I wanted to sort of help as many people as possible. That is really my goal. My end goal is to have my own treatment center. I really believe there are a few things that I believe could really help people out. I believe our current the rehabs, what they have now, they mainly focus on getting the drugs out of the person's system. Person gets 30 days. That's all their insurance company pays for, and they're back out on the streets. And that's great, but they haven't focused on why the person used in the first place. And most of these people have serious issues that they're dealing with, whether it was sexual, physical abuse, some serious stuff that they've dealt with since childhood, which caused them to use the drugs in the first place. And if you don't get them fixing that issue, yeah, you're removing the drugs and that's great. But the chances of them staying sober long-term are just astronomical if you don't fix what's going on inside of them. And it's just amazing to me that so many of these treatment centers don't. They focus on, let's get the drug out of the picture, but then it's, you're back out. And that's why they have, I think, the 3% success ratio is what people said. And that's really, I think, a little bit exaggerated, but anything else with the 3% success ratio, people would be like, we've got to change this. We've got to, figure out a new way to do it. But for some reason with the rehabs, it's kind of been okay with just having a 3% success ratio. And I know we can do better than that. And I have some ideas of how we could do that. And that's why I'd like to eventually have my own place. So
very nice. So how long did it take you to write the book?
Wow. Almost a year. I didn't realize how much goes into writing a book. And I just I started from the beginning, basically all the way back as far as I could remember, all the important things that stuck out in my life. And I just kept writing. And while doing it, it was like going through it was like going to therapy that I was giving myself because I was remembering all this stuff. And I had to really be honest about some stuff that I swore I would never share with another human being in my life. And once it came out, I mean, it all came out. And, it was kind of freeing in a way to get all that stuff out, to get all the secrets out. It's just that stuff was killing me. And once I got it all out, it was like a weight was lifted. But there was a lot into writing the book that I didn't realize. When I first sent it to an editor, I mean, I just, I'm thinking I can do my own editing and I'm pretty decent, and she tore it apart. But I mean, I probably in my first chapter had 1,000 mistakes she found, and I thought it was, so there was a lot of writing and rewriting and all this to get it in. But it took a little bit under a year, and it was a process. But I'm happy with how it turned out. So
very nice, very nice. I know. Well, the thing is in the 6 years that I've been doing podcasting and the various shows that I've been on, politics, drug abuse, stuff like that, I've never touched on, never for some reason. So I think it was about time to have this topic actually come up. So I'm completely out of my element. I know it surrounds me. So
I appreciate you doing that, for willing to do that. The more people that talk about it, the better,
I think also because I know people personally who have been going through this or are recovering themselves. So it's I'm trying to I don't know what I'm trying to say. Be open-minded about it and learn about it.
Sure.
And I know that's pretty much what your book can do for people. So laying it all out in that book,
right.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people did not realize, everything about you. So did you hear from people?
Oh yes. It was a nonstop flood of, oh my God. Even in some of the reviews, people said, I grew up with this guy who wrote this book, and I never knew any of this, or, I never knew what was going on behind closed doors, and how many people that I didn't even talk to in 20 some years just said, I went to school with this guy and I never knew this and I never knew. Mm-hmm. So it was, and a lot of people, they were kind of delicate about how they approached it with me. It was, but I'm fine I wrote the book, it's out there. If you want to talk to me about it, I'm ready to talk about it. And, but you're right. It was, a lot of people were like, wow, I didn't realize what you were going through and how bad things had gotten for you. And that's in the book. I mean, it really, it really gives you an idea of what it's like, addiction's like, and it sort of puts in perspective of where addiction starts, what are some of the root causes, what are our failures and what aren't working. And that's what I'm really hoping, that maybe some people that make some of the decisions that can really change things, because we had more people die just last year from addiction than Vietnam, Afghanistan, and Iraq all combined together, all the wars in 1 year in this country. So it's a huge problem we're facing. And it's been a little bit overshadowed by the corona and everything that's going on, but it's, it's still there. And, once that passes, we're still facing this, and it's a huge, huge problem. So
do you think it's worse now because of COVID?
It may. I know a lot of people have sort of been. That's a really good question. I'm not sure, but I would almost say that it's definitely added some fuel to the fire there. Especially, there's a lot of people that are get depressed when they can't go out, and whether it's alcohol or drug addiction. I mean, it's all sort of the same thing, but. Yes, I believe there has been a COVID wasn't a great thing for it. Absolutely.
Yeah, COVID hasn't been great for anything right about now. It's ridiculous.
It really is. It's been a tough thing, and we're all in it together,
Yeah. So before the book, I mean, what was your rock bottom? I mean, what made you snap out of, and say, I can't do this anymore?
I almost froze to death. I was homeless and I got pneumonia and I was sleeping in an abandoned house and I was sleeping under a mattress that was being snowed on. And it was about like 7 degrees out and the wind was blowing and I tried to get in the hospital to get warmth, but they were saying, this is a homeless person. We don't want you in here. I'm like, no, I really have a medical emergency. But they were so used to homeless people just going in there to get warm that they were like, get out of here. And when they finally took me in, and I really almost died. And death didn't scare me at that point, but when I came out of that, I was really looking for a way out of this life. It was like, this is just there's something about being cold all the time. And that's one of the things about being homeless. The cold is just beyond awful. And I had some people actually, some really good people. One of them, you probably know his daughter, who she is. Do you know who Kelly Ripa is, the talk show host?
Yes.
Yeah, her father was one of the people that really helped me. And we're still close today. He used to come in and help the homeless people in Camden out. He's sort of a politician in South Jersey, and he was really good about that. And we've stayed in touch. We still talk on Facebook almost every day. But he and a few other people that I really consider angels because I didn't know them; they knew nothing about me. And one woman in particular she'd just come up to this homeless guy and she was not afraid of me. And I'm in Camden, New Jersey, which was one of the worst spots ever. And she came up to me one day and she said, I know you've been hurt, but you have to forgive those who hurt you. She said, and she told me her story, and she had been molested by her father. She had become an alcoholic, and now she worked at a hospital, but and she knew nothing about my story. She just saw me as a homeless guy. And it was just like, wow. And there was another man, his name was John, and a man, Paul, and they kind of got together, and through them, I was able to slowly get the pieces that I needed to get off the street and into help. And I get into it in the book. And then there was one other person that refused to give up on me when everyone else really did in my life. She was the only person who stuck by me. And I was able to find strength through her. Just because she should have, in my mind, I felt she should have given up on me, and she refused to. And she saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And she sort of loved me until I could love myself. And, now that I've been able to sort of help her out financially, now that I've gotten some years clean. And so it's been nice to come around and help someone out that really was there for me when I had nothing. And, I get into that in the book. So as it shows the worst of humanity, it also shows the best of humanity.
Right.
So that was important to me. Yeah, definitely.
So besides writing the book, do you go out I don't think you can now, but before this whole Corona thing, were you like hosting, some sort of seminars or?
Yeah. Yes, I go to rehabs to speak almost every week now. So I go to detoxes also. There's a place that I was actually in myself. So I understand what the guys feel like. Because sometimes when they hear speakers, they're like, this guy hasn't been where I've been. But when I come in there and tell my story, they're all like eyed in on me. I can get in front of a room of 96 guys who are all rowdy, and I start telling my story and they're all focused on me, listening like, okay, this guy has been to jail. He's overdosed and died. He's been homeless. He's done every drug that we've all done. There's nothing that they can say that I haven't done. They say there's 3 ends to addiction: jails, institutions, and death. And I've been to all of them, really. I've overdosed and had been brought back twice. I've been to jail. I've been to a ton of rehabs that didn't work. So that also helps. And I'd like to think I've touched some of them. And I've had a lot of people reach out to me and say, hey, my friend is, going through this. Would you talk to him? And so I'm trying to be there as much as I can with that also, sort of personally. If someone reaches out to me on Facebook, I will always try to talk to anyone as much as possible. So and help anyone I can.
The book is out?
The book is out.
Okay.
Such Unfortunates. It's the title, by Andrew Mann. Amazon is the best place to get it. Really, it's available some other places, but Amazon's the best place. It's paperback, like I just showed you. It's also available on Kindle or ebook. If you have a computer, you can get it on Amazon for $2.99, which I tried to make it as cheap as I could possible. And it's also available on Audible, which if you like to listen to it, it's available there. Yes. So those are the 3 places. And like I said, I have a Facebook page. It's Facebook at Amazing New Book. And you can write a message to me. And if you know somebody who's suffering, or you have a question for me, or whatever, you don't like the book, whatever you want to write, I'm fine with it. Okay. But if you have somebody that's suffering, I'll do anything within my power to try to help you or them. So
what do you tell people who know someone personally, like a family member that's going through this or is recovering?
Sure.
How to handle it?
Okay. Well, there's 2 ways a couple of things that I tell people. The first is, people get confused with tough love. What does that mean? Should we cut them off forever, or should we, they seem to go to 2 extremes. They're either giving them too much or cutting it off too much. You have to find a middle ground. Okay. You cannot just keep throwing money at them. They're going to keep using drugs. If you keep doing that, you're just enabling the person. It's not going to work. It just won't. It's not going to work. The best thing you can do for them is tell your loved one you will be there. You will support them 100% as long as they go get help. If they're not willing to get help, you can't keep throwing money. It's just, you're not going to get any solution that you want. But you do want to tell them. You don't want to say, I've seen people, if you're using, you're cut off, it's tough love, bye-bye, you figure it all out on your own. And that's not a good idea either. You need to be there for the person if they're willing to get help, and you will help them to the point, but you can't be there to enable the addiction to go on because, especially today, a lot of the drugs are being mixed with fentanyl and stuff that if somebody takes, they don't know what they're putting in their body, and there's no way to tell. And a lot of people I'm just using one more time, and they end up dead. So if you have a loved one, I would do whatever I could to get them into help, and be there for them, and encourage them very much to work on the issues that got them to use in the first place, and share whatever is hurting them deep down inside. That is my best advice.
Okay. Good advice.
Thanks.
I'm just trying to see. I don't know if you can see the comments as well. You should be able to, right?
No, I'm not seeing any of them there. I see oh, wait, let me see if I can click on this. And okay. All right.
Yeah, just in case. Sure. I love using this platform only because the guest, when they're doing video with me, they can also see the questions when they pop up.
Great.
So right now you're looking at whoever's on Facebook and YouTube as well, just in case I miss any of them. I know one question had come up a little while ago. Where'd she go? Where is it?
It said, what do you think of the show Intervention? Is that what you're?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I like it. I do. It can be, it shows the pain very well of addiction. So I've enjoyed that. I haven't seen it in a while, but I do. I've definitely can relate. And that's very, they're not making it up. What they show in there is very real. So I do like it. Absolutely. I'm trying to see any other questions I see on here. How do I feel about marijuana? I don't. The thing is, I think people focus too much on the drugs. What I have is a problem inside of me and any other addict. It doesn't have to do as much with the drugs. I'm not against anyone using marijuana. I'm really not. My problem was an issue. The drugs were a symptom of something that was very wrong inside of me. Too often people just focus on the drugs and the drugs were bad. Drugs are just a symptom of a problem that was going on inside of me. And that's the most loud symptom that I was using to sort of medicate a problem inside of me that was very bad. So if people use marijuana and it doesn't ruin their life, I have no problem with it. If they need it to help with anxiety and it's not out of control, I really don't have a problem with it. So for someone like me, I stay away from it just because I don't want it to lead me back into something like that. But, I know friends who do it on the weekend and they go to work and they have normal families. And, I would never tell them that it's not a good idea. So.
All right. Another question. How do you feel about methadone clinics?
I feel I was on methadone for a little while, and it did help me to get off the street. Actually, when I was telling you about Joe Ripa and his friend actually got me into a methadone clinic because I couldn't get enough. With heroin, it's like every 2 hours you're looking for another fix. Methadone was enough to give you a break where you could walk away from it and sort of get my head straight. And then I knew I needed to go into it. Do I think it's a great idea to be on it for life? No. But do I think, I think that's more of a medical issue that someone would talk with their doctor. If it can help a person and there's nothing else that works for them, why not? I have friends that have used Suboxone, methadone, and it's the only thing that works for them. When they get off of it, I had a friend that he'd gone to AA meetings and people were trashing methadone and saying how bad it was and for him to get off of it. So he rushed to get off of it. And 2 weeks later, they found him dead in his bathroom of an overdose. So I will never tell anyone that if it can help you, that is a medical thing between you and your doctor. And I don't give medical stuff, but I do think it's been helpful to some people. And if it can help you, more power to it. So.
All right. Yeah, the whole methadone clinic thing is new. Well, not too new around here. We do have, I believe, do we have 2 or 3 that have popped up in Massachusetts, because that's where I am.
Okay.
In our small little county. So, and I know they're very busy. So a lot of people didn't want them.
Yeah, they're very controversial. Very controversial.
But they opened up anyways. So, yeah. So maybe it's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not on it, so I can't really speak on it. But I don't want to discourage someone that it could help out. So
absolutely. Let's see. So how do you feel about the safe rooms that are popping up for a safe place to shoot up? I don't know anything about this, so.
I would rather people not be on drugs, but I do feel that if they're going to use the idea that I guess if they had a safe spot, it's better than somebody going in the bathroom at Burger King. And if there are people there to watch them, they're not going to overdose. And I guess if they would keep their needles in that safe spot, I could see the benefits of it. I could. When you hide stuff where you keep it in the dark is when things have the most problems. And so, some people, I don't want people using here in a safe space. You really need to think about, do you want people going in your bathroom? I actually don't have a problem with it. And I think it would make more sense to see people there. They would probably give them clean needles. So it would probably cut down on spreading of drugs and transmission. And so, I do think there is some benefits to it. I really do. So I would rather people not be using at all. That would be my thing. But if they're going to, I would rather have them there than out on the street. So that would be my take.
Yeah, very nice. Very good answer. I'm pretty sure more questions are going to be coming up. So you're also on YouTube.
Yep.
I have seen most of your videos.
Okay. All right.
Sure. I need to finish. So besides the book, I mean, it seems like you are, I don't want to say a jack of all trades, but the videos are different. So one of them is talking about, I think, fitness or eating nutritious food, I think.
Yep. Yeah, some of them. I had a friend that asked me to make a video. I forget what it was about, but it was something I had given somebody advice, and they were like, "Make a video for that." So, yep. So I haven't been as much into YouTube lately, just because of things with the book and other things going on in my life. But I like interacting with people online. I do. Sometimes you get into people with crazy people. I had sort of a crazy experience with a woman that I was. She was sort of bullying a child, and like I said, I don't, because I'd gone through that as a child. I said,
Yep.
or I wrote back, I said, to an adult bullying a child, I don't think is right, ma'am, and please stay out of this. And I just don't think any adult should be bullying a child. The child was 10 years old, and the woman really got angry and said some nasty stuff back to me, and even wrote a couple nasty reviews on my book saying nasty things. And it was really awful of her, but it was just a low thing. She got one of her friends to write something, and I was just like, lady, all I said was don't pick on a 10-year-old child. And so that's the one thing online that I've had to sort of back away from a little bit. You got to be careful what you get into, especially now that I have a book. I have to be careful about who I get into arguments with, because then I get crazy people writing crazy things. Like all I was saying, I don't think an adult should be picking on a 10-year-old child. That's it.
Right.
And so that's another thing that yes, that's probably one of the reasons I've slowed down. But I did put up how I wrote my book, and I wanted to give people advice on how they could write a book. Because a lot of people had asked me that. So, and I try to be funny and keep it lighthearted, and any advice I can give people, I try to, about life.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah, I know about the whole arguing with people. You got to be careful with what you say to people, and I've gone through that myself. So especially if you're online and people kind of know who you are, so
Right.
I went through that whole mess myself. So
and now you have your show. I'm sure you just have to be careful these days. So
I've noticed now more than ever, everyone is they're looking for something.
Yes.
And whether it be an author or someone from a TV show, I've had actors and actresses on, and these days I don't know what it is. So if you do anything wrong or anything out of context, what happened with me is a word or something I had said in a show was taken out of context. It was totally blown out of proportion. So, and yep, I had the person yelling at me, and then I had the daughter writing something, and it's a big thing. But I've noticed that it's not just me. Right. So I noticed that it's been other people as well. So yes,
I had to deal with it, and yes, I can. It's crazy. It is, but it's the world we live in. But on the flip side, there are so many good people out there who just aren't like that. And, I'll try to help anybody out, like I said. And that's not going to sour my taste toward people. So,
yeah, absolutely. We have to keep going.
Sure.
Let's see. Heather says, what's your take on detox versus long-term rehabilitation?
I think long-term, Heather, I would definitely say that is better. A detox, I mean, it's great to detox, but when you get out, depending on how long the person's used, your brain is so not right for at least the first 30 days that you are so vulnerable to relapse that the best place for you to be is in a rehab for a long time. And when I say long time I mean more than 30 days. The last one I went to was a 9-month program. And when I got out of that 9 months, just at that point in 9 months, I was starting to think like a rational person. If I had left there in 30 days, I probably would have made it about 2 hours on the street before I had a needle in my arm. So I'm just being honest. If you have the ability to stay in a long-term place, do it. It makes, and I'm saying you personally, but anyone that's in dealing with this, I definitely think if your only choice is detox, that is definitely better than nothing. But it's just, the person, if they get out of that detox, you need to go and be around support. If you go to AA, NA meetings, find people, tell them you just got out of a detox and you need people around you, because you're fighting something that is a lot stronger than most people have any idea of. And so that would be my advice on that. Definitely.
Like I said, I have never been through addiction. I mean, trust me, I have my own addiction.
Sure.
I am a former smoker. I just recently quit.
Right.
Smoking for a very long time. But it finally got to the point where it was just, enough was enough. So, I mean, nicotine is probably just as bad as, whatever, anything else. It really, I just don't understand how people can. So were you working during, so obviously, I mean, you were homeless,
Yes.
during this. So
At
were
the
you
end.
working or no?
When I'm homeless, no. That's that's the whole other thing that comes into, and in the book, I get into how I survived and how I was able to feed my addiction and how the homeless people do it. And it really was because I had no idea. Once I first became homeless, I'm like, how do all these people get high all day?
Yeah.
And I describe it in the book what people do, and and that's, I mean, before I became homeless, I worked, but all my money went to drugs at the end. I was, at one point I was bartending in Florida, I remember, and I would literally make $300 cash a day, and I didn't have a dollar the next day to buy 2 cigarettes, because every penny of that went to drugs. And I ended up working 7 days a week. I would work on Sundays in this hotel, bar, and restaurant just to keep feeding my addiction. And, I would walk out of there with at least $300. Next day I wouldn't have a dollar. I mean, and that's every night. So it was a horror show. There's never enough money. If I would have made more money, I would have used more drugs.
Yeah.
It's there's no way to beat it, is what I'm saying. Even you see these famous movie stars that have millions of dollars that end up broke on the street, or dead. And so that's another thing that is, it's just not there isn't a good way there's just not a good way to be an addict and keep it. You just don't live for a while or things get really bad. So.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to read the book to learn more myself, and I'm pretty sure it'll answer a lot of questions.
Sure.
So, is there a chance for another book? Like, what do you?
A lot of people have asked me that, and I've at first I thought absolutely not, but I'm considering it. A lot of people want to know more about my life now, more about the other side, and so I would consider it. A lot of people were like, you should start writing a fiction book. You should try doing that. And, my real passion is I want to help people. And I know the books can help people, but I really would love to try to make this rehab idea come to fruition. So I don't know if I'll have enough time to really get into writing a book, but if I do, it depends. I really don't know the answer to that. I've thought about it. At first, it was absolutely not. When I finished this book, I'm like, oh my God, this was enough. But I might consider it, depending on what's going on in my life. I did enjoy, after it was seeing the finished product, and I really enjoy helping people. Like when somebody tells me they didn't kill themselves, like that was so much better than any money I could have made off the book. Like I was just like, was the happiest I've been from that, like getting something like that. So,
So, how long have you been clean?
That'll be 4 years in a little bit, almost. So we've got the 24th, it'll be 4 years.
Wow. Good for you.
So for me, I couldn't get 4 minutes. So
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah.
And obviously life is much better, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, not
It's
even
a journey, obviously, but
correct. I mean, everybody has problems, but like a lot of people say, normal problems to me are just like I deal with them so well because of the problems I've had in my life before were so just insurmountable, end of the world type stuff. That now, bills and stuff like that, it's like, okay, I'll get it done. It'll work out. And some very good things have happened to me. Yes. Um, I have some good people in my life, some great people, and some things I would never go back. I would never want to go back to that world that I was in before. It was a nightmare. And I would love if no one had to go back to that world. So,
yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. For someone who's never been through it, I can't imagine it. So I just can't.
The book will give you a pretty good idea of what it's like. And that's what people have said to me, like, wow, it does really get into the details. So, put your seatbelt on, but it's something that a lot of people needed to hear. And so I'm hoping it can have some meaningful change. I'm hoping somebody like Oprah will pick it up and be like, wow, so
there you go. Absolutely.
Yeah. So never know.
Yeah, you never know. All right. If anyone else has any more questions, I'm just waiting. I know there's a delay. So
thank you, Amber. Thank you. I just saw they were good for you. Thank you. And thank you, Alan. I appreciate it. I really do. Yeah. I'm the last guy that I thought would be sitting here saying I mean, it's just beyond. So thank you very much.
Anybody else? That's the one thing I hate about these. There's a delay. So
there's a delay. Yeah.
Yeah. There's always a delay. I don't know how long the delay is, but yeah. Are you planning on going back to YouTube? Are you planning on doing any sort of, something now that we're in this, semi lockdown? I know that most states we're gradually coming out of our houses and stuff like that, but are you what's the plan? What's next for you?
A few of my friends wanted me to teach them because I know about the stock market. I used to be into that before my life went crazy with that. And I was thinking of getting back into it. And so many people want to learn about it because of how well it's been doing. So I was thinking of making videos to teach people that know nothing about the stock market what they need to know, how to get into it, and how a beginner can get in and make money in the stock market safely, and what's the smart things to do. So I was thinking of starting some videos about that. And I actually got a tripod and stuff that I really could do a lot better than you see how I film mine. They're totally amateur. It's amateur day all day long. But so I was thinking of doing it a little more seriously and getting into that and really, that I don't know. I might be interested in that. Definitely. And, maybe doing something talking about addiction and what I went through and I would love to be able to help people. I would love for the message to get out and reach a lot of people. So whatever I can do that reach more people, if the stock market was the way to get a lot of people that I could still, on the side, tell them about the book and how it could help people, then I would do that, so we'll see. That's definitely it wouldn't, I enjoy it, and I enjoy the positive parts of the internet, the interaction, the positive stuff. So definitely.
Very interesting. Very interesting. I would never have thought of, although I think I did see some video. I don't think I watched it one, but you were talking about stocks and stuff like that, stock market or whatever. So I'll have to go back and watch it. Yeah, I started watching your videos of you recording with your phone there in the mirror, and I'm looking. I'm like, what exactly is he looking at? I was looking at the phone when he records. So yeah,
it started kind of as a joke, and then started going on. And then I was like, hey, this will be funny. And I have a couple friends who do videos, and they make these funny videos, and all these people watch it. And so I don't know. And some of the stuff, like, I really believe can help people. Colloidal silver, especially with the COVID-19, I've used it and it's really been beneficial. So I was hoping that could help people, and that's just basically what I share. If you look at it, if something comes up good, I'll put it on there. So that you know, nothing really controversial, but those are really the people that get millions of views. But I like sticking to my stuff, but maybe we'll see some more stock market stuff coming up in the future. So
awesome. Yeah, I would like that. I do like.
yes.
I do have stocks, so but I do it amateurly. So yeah.
Stock market can be scary, she said, for a lot of people. Yes, absolutely, Amber.
Yeah.
I don't think it has to be, though. So I want to try to make it unscary for people. And I think I'm pretty decent at doing that when I lay it out. So
completely off topic.
Sure.
But I know we're talking about stocks and stuff. So do you believe in these apps that people can download on their phones and buy shares of stock?
I've seen it, and it does. Like, I've seen people get into it. If that's the way you want to get into the stock market, it's any way that someone can get into the stock market, I think, is a good thing. There's a reason that the rich stay rich and the poor stay poor, and the main reason is the stock market. The rich are involved in the stock market, which means their money goes to work for them. So it's like literally they can sit at home and their money grows and grows and grows. I mean, somebody invests in Amazon when it starts out and they don't do anything, and their money, they turn into millionaires. Netflix, a Monster Energy drink, Monster Energy drink, that was one stock that I had owned and I sold. But I mean, it went from pennies to just through the roof. And, and a lot of the rich are involved in the stock market. They have people that tell them where to put their money, and most people don't. They don't have the extra money to invest in the stock market. But if you see, even if you started out when you were 18 and say you picked 5 stocks, put $50 into each one, and then just every week invested money, there's something called dollar cost averaging, because the stock market goes like this, and then it goes down, then it goes up, then it goes down, but it always keeps going. If you look at the market all through history, it always keeps going up. So if you just stick with it and average buying, and you stick with some good companies, over time, you're going to gain so much money off your money, rather than if you let that sit in the bank. By the time you retire, you may have a couple $100,000, but if you had just invested in the stock market, you're going to have about 7 million. So that's the difference. And so this person's retiring, going on trips. The other one's just making it and worrying about bills. And that's the difference between the rich and the poor, is the stock market. It really is.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Okay, so I know that your book has been out. Such Unfortunate. So, and people can buy it on Amazon.
Yes.
You said it was a digital download along with the
paperback copy. There's one right here, just like this.
Yeah.
Paperback copy, and it's on Audible, so you can listen to it. And if people want to know the reason I named it Such Unfortunates, in AA meetings, when you go in, they refer to people as such unfortunates. They always read this in the beginning. And these are people that are basically never going to get the program. They're never going to get sober. And I always thought I was one of those people. And when I would go in there, I would hear them read that, and I was sure that was me. And so that's why I named it that, because a lot of people ask me that. They're like, what's with the title? What's with the title? And so I wanted to get that out there.
Awesome. I'm trying to think if anyone else has any more questions.
Thank you, Amber. She said that would be a good thing. So I said, thank you.
I think we've gone in
if you ever want to have me back on, Brian, I'd be happy to come back on and answer questions. A lot of times people seem to have it after. They'll say, this person want to know this and this. So
yeah. It happens to me quite a bit, actually. So a lot of people after the show, they'll start watching the replay and they'll think that I'm technically still live. So they'll ask the questions even though I'm not live. But I do get the messages.
Sure.
I love having people back on because there's always something different to talk about. So absolutely, I would not mind having you on again. I think that this is interesting. It needs to be talked about. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
And, I'm learning in the process along with other people because all these people are usually the same people that watch every show. So, I mean, they can contest it. I've never had anything like that. I didn't want politics and uh,
Sort of
taboo.
right.
I didn't want to talk about certain topics on the show. I wanted to be fun, light, entertaining, but also to learn something. So, and I think by not talking about certain things, people aren't learning something.
Okay.
So that's why I definitely, when I saw the email get forwarded over, I'm like, yes, this absolutely needs to get talked about. So, especially here in, I'm in Berkshire County here in Massachusetts. So, and yeah, it's a big problem. So hopefully somebody will watch this and, want to learn more, read the book, or
help them, decide to turn their life around, and that would be great.
Absolutely.
Heather asked, what do you think can be done to help fight addiction? I think probably the most important thing that can be done, a couple things, is protecting children. Addiction, what I've learned in my going through every rehab, that 99% of people that are addicts got that way because of some sort of trauma, childhood, sexual or physical or mental abuse, which led them to be so unhappy with themselves that their reality sober was just so miserable that they are looking. See, a lot of people look at drug addiction, they think these people were out partying and having a great time and did it themselves. That's a huge misconception. Most of these people were suffering and looking for something to sort of get away from themselves, to cure their anxiety and depression. So one of the first things that can be done is to, I guess it starts in the family or with DIFUS, but children, child abuse needs to stop. And that is a huge part that plays a part in addiction. I mean, I can't tell you, it's just like a broken record. Every single addict that I meet in a rehab was abused as a child. And it's just not a coincidence. So that would be the first thing. The second thing, main thing, is give them enough time in treatment. These insurance companies and even the state governments will pay for a short treatment, and they'll pay for 10 of them. But instead of just giving them enough time, you'd save so much more money if you just got it the first time and gave the person enough time. Instead of paying for 2 weeks at a time, 50 times, why don't you just give the person enough time? And the last thing is, while they're in treatment, you need to fix what's wrong with them, not just the drugs. Like I said, the drugs are a symptom of something that's wrong. So you need to get that person to talk about, and they need to get therapy for what's wrong inside of them. And it's real important that they get aftercare for all that when they get outside of that. If they fix what's inside of them, they'll have such a better chance at staying clean through life that way. So that's what I really think can be done to fight addiction.
Absolutely.
Thanks. Yeah, that's some great questions. Somebody else said that, so she really does. It's good. I'm glad to see people do,
That's a good question. I'm just making sure I didn't skip anything. But then again, just in case, we can always come back on.
Yep, and I keep everything as lighthearted as possible. I try not to take myself too seriously. Try to laugh at myself as many times as I can, And even though it's a tough topic, I try to really, like you said, keep it as lighthearted as possible. There's no reason to be miserable about everything, So.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, like I said, I'll definitely have you on again. I have no objections to that. So
great.
I like returning guests.
It's been like having a conversation. It wasn't even like being on a show. That's nice.
That's the way. Like I said, I've been doing this for 6 years now. I used to have a co-host. for the first 6 years. That was a totally different show. And I think the way that I do these shows is to make sure the person is comfortable, number one. Number two, I don't want to waste your time if you're going to come on and talk about something that I don't think people are really going to enjoy or want to hear about. So I don't try to be too picky about it, but for the most part, I think I've done very well. And then it was time for me to venture out onto my own. So you are technically the third guest that I've actually had live on camera, because this whole camera interview thing is new for me, but I've noticed because of COVID, a lot of people are doing it now.
Sure.
So yeah, it just used to be just me talking back and forth between the people you see here on the side. That got a little boring, so I'm like, all right, it's time to bring some guests back on. So yeah, I love meeting new people and having them come back on. It means that I've done something right if they want to come back. So
yes.
Absolutely. So, and it's gotten to the point where people do request people come back. That has happened as well. So yeah, so I'm glad you came on. Yeah, like Heather says, you're on a whole new platform. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Amber saying it's a good show. It was a good show. It's a very good show. So yeah. So thank you for coming on. Thank you for talking about your book. I hope that people go. I will make sure that we post the link for the book for Amazon.
And I will put your show on my Facebook page so everyone goes to your show. I think I'm getting up near 5,000 friends. So hopefully you'll get some visitors there. Definitely.
Absolutely. And I will connect to that page as soon as I see that. I didn't know about that, actually. So yeah, I just saw the YouTube. I subscribed to that. So
awesome. Like I said, I haven't been too big on that, but I'd love you to come on Facebook and I'll friend request you. I have a Facebook page for the book where I think I have 1,000 followers, and then I have my own personal where I think I have like 4,400 people or something. So I'll go to each one of those, and I'll hopefully get some people to come to you. I'm sure some will come to your show. So
absolutely,
help each other out.
It'll help if you come back on. So I know that,
without a doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Drew, thank you so much for coming on and talking about it. And like I said, we'll have you on again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate you having me on. All your guests, the great questions, Heather, Amber, everyone else, Alan, thank you, and everyone else. I hope I didn't forget anybody, but like I said, books on Amazon, Such Unfortunate. Andrew, my last name is Mann, M-A-N-N. And if I can help you out, let me know. I'd be happy to. All right. Thanks again, Brian.
All right. Thank you.